Hi guys, it's us again. So we want to continue on the topic about private hire. These are the listed issues that I have faced on my journey of being a private hire driver. Inaccurate GPS. So every now and then you will pass through some tunnels, indoor car park, and also outskirt area. Or maybe just that day your network is not really strong. The tendency of your GPS failure is quite high, especially very tight, very congested area. Experience that I had with the inaccurate GPS, basically there's a few cases. First is the GPS doesn't load. Other cases like the GPS mistaken your current location and give you some other location, or the GPS can detect your location but couldn't detect your movement, so it doesn't give you a turn by turn guide. Those are pretty common issue that you will definitely face. So basically you need to know or have a sense of general direction, especially when you enter a car park. You need to know how you get in and then do a reverse engineer to get out. So if you're at a major road, you need to know where's your general north, south, east, west, and the place that you are heading to is which part of that city you are in. I mean, these are something that you cannot avoid, so don't need to panic. You can ask your passenger about the general direction. I mean, 90% of the passengers are very friendly and very eager to help you out. Passenger cancelling the booking, that's my top hit list. So what will usually happen? You get a booking through the app, you are on your way to the location, and then suddenly you are very close, you are maybe like 1 minute or maybe like a few hundred meters away, passenger decide cancel the booking. So that's something you get irritated lah, especially when you are at the business district area where traffic are so hard to navigate through. You need to switch from the left lane to the right lane, and then a constant vehicle, and then you finally make that turn, and then one turn away the passenger cancel your ride. So nothing you can do about it. It's just a mental tuning of yourself, so how you take it positively. If they cancel, what you can do? You can do nothing. So why not just wait for the next ride? Other road users, there will be a lot of cases where you will meet road hoggers, people that drive really slow or just suddenly stop in the way, basically obstruction. You will also meet like a inconsiderate pedestrian just dash through the road. Bullies, dangerous riders. I would say you can't control how they behave. If they horn you because you are driving within speed limit and they are speeding and they try to overtake you, and then they got no means, or maybe they just felt that you cut into their lane is rude and then they just decided to tailgate you, high beam you, horn you. I mean, let them be. It's just a few minutes of endurance, then usually they will just overtake you. I ever have this BMW driver. I was at the right lane doing a right turn. There's a pedestrian crossing the road, so I basically have to stop. And then he was speeding very quickly, I can see from my rear view mirror. He thought I'm going straight, but end up I turned right, so I make that stop. He had to jam his brake and then almost hit into my rail. So what he did next was, instead of continue his journey by switching back to the center lane, he stopped at the center lane with the green light on. He just keep staring at me, wind down the window and keep scolding until there's a car coming from his rear. He got no choice but to move off. So I don't understand why they have to do all this type of weird stuff. So probably they felt that they have a right of way. So we just came back from a delivery drop off. So let's resume the ride. Drop-off points. There are two types of scenario about drop-off point. Change of drop-off point. So what happened is, likely the passenger will tell you that he or she wants to change the drop-off point in the middle of the journey, or sometimes might be close to the end of the journey. So the standard procedure will be the passenger are required to change the drop-off point via the app, whichever app you're using. So what happened here is the passenger will try not to do it because every time they change the drop-off point on the app, it will incur them a surcharge. So in order to save the money, likely they will nicely ask, can they change the drop-off point, and conveniently say that it's nearby. Usually I will ask them to change the app. If they insist and they doesn't look friendly, I will just send them if it's nearby, to avoid unwanted confrontation. At the end of the day, it's just another 5-10 minutes ride. What's the point of having a fight with them, right? Try to avoid fight. I mean, at the end of the day, you are the losing party, so they can just file a complaint and you get the rating and stuff. At the end of the day, it will affect your income. The second type of drop-off point change is slightly more advanced. Usually, this passenger will go to a certain location. From that certain location, they will bypass certain locations. So they decide that since it's a bypass, why not driver just on the way, by the way, stop by and drop me off that location. So if it's not too ridiculous, basically I would fulfill their request. Every additional drop-off point keys into the app require them to pay an additional fee. So understand they are trying to save a few bucks. My worst ever experience, this passenger asked me to drop him at a certain point. He said it's on the way. It's a petrol kiosk. When we reached that petrol kiosk, he asked me to wait and I asked him, hey, how come it's wait? I thought it's just drop off. He said he wanted to go to the ATM to withdraw some cash. I have to wait for him to come back, then continue the journey to the final destination. So I would say that that's over the board because he was out there for 5-10 minutes. But at the end of the day, I still comply. I mean, what can you do as a PHV driver, right? So chase them down, you get fined, cancel their trip, they give you bad rating, you're at the losing end. So all you have to do is just suck it up, right? You have to adjust yourself to move on very quickly on all this incident. So loud passenger, usually this group of guys are party type of kids. Once they go on board, they start blasting music, they start speaking loudly. Sometimes they contain rough languages, rough vocabulary. So you might not feel easy or comfortable hearing their conversation, but being professional, I mean, you just bear with it because they are your passenger. They are free to speak out whatever they want unless things are pretty extreme like national threat or national security. Unhygienic passenger. So at times you will fetch passenger that is not very concerned in terms of their personal hygiene. They might have various reasons. Maybe it's just a natural body reaction. You will have passenger that has a BO. Sometimes you get passenger that comes from sports hall. They went through like a soccer match, a badminton session, and they went for a jog. They are very sweaty and they didn't wash up, dried up, and they just go on board. I believe that some other PHV driver encounter drunk passenger. Oh, actually I have one drunk passenger before. He came out obviously drunk. You can smell that alcohol content on him, but he's sober enough to at least recognize that I'm the right car to enter. So once he got on board and then he started making burping sound constantly and he sit just beside the driver's seat. So constantly I have this fear that he might throw out anytime. Child seat, I guess partially is education. This is something that I didn't know until I get on board on this system. If you are bringing a child that is below height of 1.3 meter, a child seat is required on a private hire vehicle, but not on a taxi. I don't understand why it's double standard, but don't ask me why also. So this is part of the rules and the system. Most of the time they just board without knowing. It's not that they are trying to playing with the system or whatnot. They really don't know about it. You are required to book a different services on the app instead of the normal one that we book. It will cost the passenger a little bit more. So if you ask me about what's my experience of being a private hire driver, I would say that this experience is pretty unique. I gained the knowledge of being more patient, being treating everyone. It's a high EQ job because you deal with different type of passenger. If you are working for long hours, probably you get like 30 rides a day. So it exposes you to a lot of different personality types. Sometimes it can be stressful because you are constantly relying on technology to navigate the way. So sometimes they give you wrong direction, sometimes it doesn't work. You have to use your own immediate judgment to decide where you should go. Sometimes the passenger gives you additional stress, asking, hey, how come you done this? How come you done that? So all this actually mounts up to your mental capacity of being a private hire driver. Is not as easy as if you know how to drive, basically you can take up the job. So there's a lot of underneath hidden situation most of us does not understand. You will wonder why the driver is not being friendly with you. Maybe the driver get unwanted treatment from previous passenger. Sometimes you ask, hey, how come the driver is driving slightly faster than the other driver? Maybe this driver is trying to earn more income to feed the family. So all these are neglected in the face of being a passenger. Same thought process, I would say. As a driver, there's no point you arguing with the passenger, pick a fight, start recording one not incident that you see online. Driver-passenger relationship. As long as the request is not too extreme, basically it's just another 5 minutes of interaction. Fulfill, get over it, move on, life goes on. Right? But after hearing all this, do not be afraid if you are wanting to be a private hire driver. These are the things that you will be expecting. I hope that this video will help you to do some mental preparation. Look out for what you're expecting. I personally went through this firsthand. I do not have any friends that were doing this. I basically just jump onto the boat. Just try it out. Try to understand how this thing works, because I thought it was an easy job until I start doing it. So if you are an existing PHV driver, do also share with us your experience in the comment box. Maybe I left out some incident that I never have a chance to experience. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.